Hi, welcome to Spec Hunter. Today we're looking at Samsung's newest flip foldable phone, the Galaxy Z Flip7. For years, Samsung has been refining its foldable technology, and the Flip line has always been about style, compact size, and a futuristic folding screen. Now with the Z Flip7, Samsung hasn't reinvented the phone, but has made it more polished, more refined, and a little more practical than before. The question is, has Samsung done enough to make this phone worth buying or even upgrading to? Let's find out in this full review. The Galaxy Z Flip7 looks familiar at first glance. It still folds completely flat with no gap in the hinge, and it still keeps the same stylish clamshell design that has made the Flip series so popular. But the details show where Samsung has worked to improve things. The hinge is thinner than before and said to be more durable. The body is a little wider and taller, yet Samsung shaved off some thickness, making the device feel sleeker in hand. The weight hasn't changed much, at about 188 grams, which is impressive considering the phone packs a larger battery this time. The frame is built from aluminum, while the back and cover screen are protected by Gorilla Glass Victus. For durability against the elements, the phone keeps its IP48 rating for dust and water protection. It's not a rugged phone by any means, but it should hold up against everyday splashes. One of the biggest changes this year is in the displays. The inner foldable screen is now 6.9 inches, up from 6.7 last year. It's a full HD panel with a 120Hz refresh rate and LTPO technology, which helps manage power by adjusting refresh rates automatically. The display looks sharp, vibrant, and has HDR10+ support, so watching videos feels immersive and smooth. Of course, like all foldables, there is still a crease where the screen bends. It's visible if you look for it, but Samsung has improved the feel so it's less distracting. When you swipe your finger over it, it doesn't feel as deep or rough as in older versions. Brightness is another area where Samsung has made strides. On the main inner screen, brightness can reach about 750 nits manually, and with auto brightness outdoors it goes even higher. That makes it very usable under bright sunlight. The cover screen tells a similar story, though in a slightly different way. It maxes at 450 nits with the slider, but in auto mode it can shoot up to around 1400 nits, which is plenty for outdoor use. Both screens share the same refresh rate behavior, giving you 120 Hz for smooth scrolling and animations, and dropping lower when idle to save energy. The cover display itself has grown from 3.4 inches on the Z Flip 6 to 4.1 inches here. That may not sound huge, but in practice, the difference is noticeable. It's bigger, sharper, and smoother since it now runs at 120 Hz instead of the old 60 Hz. The design is also edge-to-edge with slim bezels, which looks modern and makes the phone feel more premium. The responsiveness is excellent, and it's a joy to use. But despite this bigger and better screen, Samsung hasn't fully unlocked its potential. The cover display still runs on a widget-based interface. You can check notifications, add widgets, and use Samsung's Gemini AI assistant. A handful of apps run natively here, including Maps, Messages, YouTube, and Netflix, but full app support is still missing. You don't get a task switcher to easily jump between apps, which makes multitasking clunky. If you want to run other apps, you'll need a third-party tool, and even then, they may not work as expected. This is one of the areas where Samsung could have pushed the Flip further but chose not to. Moving on to audio, the Z Flip 7 comes with stereo speakers, and the difference from last year is clear. The sound feels fuller, with deeper tones and a richer profile. Music sounds better, movies have more presence, and voices are crisp. For a thin, foldable phone, this is an area where Samsung has managed to improve quality noticeably. Unlocking the phone is easy with the side-mounted capacitive fingerprint scanner. It's fast, accurate and reliable. Storage options include 256 or 512 gigabytes, which should be enough for most people, but there is no micro SD slot, so expansion isn't an option. On the software side, the Z Flip7 launches with Samsung's One UI 8 running on top of Android 16. If you've used Samsung phones before, the interface will feel familiar with its clean layout and plenty of customization. But this time, Samsung has added a feature Flip fans have been asking for: DeX support. This allows you to connect the phone to a monitor and use it like a desktop computer, which makes the Flip more versatile for productivity. AI is another big selling point. Samsung includes Gemini Live, where you can use voice commands or point the camera at things to get AI-powered answers. It makes the phone more interactive and useful in daily situations. Samsung also promises 7 years of major Android updates and 7 years of security patches, which is a big deal for long-term users. This level of support means the Flip 7 will stay secure and up-to-date longer than many other Android phones. Performance is always important for a flagship, and this year Samsung has taken a new path. Instead of Qualcomm Snapdragon, the Flip 7 runs on Samsung's own Exynos 2500 chipset. This is a flagship chip capable of handling everything from gaming to multitasking. In graphics benchmarks, it holds its own against Snapdragon 8 Elite devices, though in CPU-heavy tasks, it's a little weaker. Still, in day-to-day use, the phone feels fast, smooth, and responsive. Gaming is enjoyable, and apps open quickly. The challenge comes with thermal management. Because of the thin, foldable design, the phone struggles to keep heat under control. In stress tests, the performance throttles to about half after prolonged heavy use. This isn't unusual for a foldable this slim, but it does mean that if you push the phone hard with long gaming sessions, you'll notice performance drops. For normal users, this won't be a major problem. Battery life has improved with a new 4,300 mAh capacity, up from 4,000 last year. In active use, the phone lasts almost 12 hours, which is a step forward compared to the Z Flip 6. It's good enough for a full day of typical usage, though not class-leading. Charging speeds remain at 25 watts, which feels slow compared to rivals that push 60 watts or even faster. With the right adapter, you can charge from 0 to around 46% in half an hour, and a full charge takes just over an hour and a half. There's also wireless charging support, which is convenient, but again, speeds are on the slower side. Now let's talk about cameras. Unlike the Z Fold 7, which saw camera upgrades, the Z Flip 7 sticks with the same hardware as last year: a 50-megapixel main camera and a 13-megapixel ultra-wide. Still, Samsung has made some improvements in the software and interface. The cover screen now makes it easier to switch between filters, adjust zoom, and snap selfies with the main camera. Selfies from the 10-megapixel inner camera are serviceable, but not exciting. They lack some contrast and saturation, though detail is fine. The real magic happens when you use the main camera for selfies via the cover screen. These shots are sharp, detailed, and more natural-looking, with better depth and subject separation. You can even use the ultra-wide for group selfies, though keep in mind it lacks autofocus. Daytime photos from the main camera look excellent. They are sharp, with plenty of detail, natural skin tones, and controlled noise. Colors lean towards natural instead of overly saturated, which some people may prefer. Portrait shots default to 2x zoom, which gives a nice perspective, though some sharpness is lost compared to regular shots. Dynamic range is wide, capturing both highlights and shadows effectively. At night, results are good, but not groundbreaking. Without night mode, photos still have solid detail and accurate colors, though shadows can look dark and grainy. Night mode smooths things out, making the images cleaner, but sometimes adding an artificial look. The ultra-wide camera performs decently in daylight, with good dynamic range and consistent colors compared to the main camera. In low light, it struggles more with detail and noise, but night mode helps improve things a bit. Video recording goes up to 4K at 60 frames per second on all cameras. The main camera's videos look decent, though not particularly sharp. Colors are nice, dynamic range is solid, and the ultra-wide does a respectable job as well. Stabilization works fine for light movement, like panning or walking, but it isn't perfect. In low light, videos show more noise, though exposure and colors remain usable. So where does that leave us? The Galaxy Z Flip7 is a refinement, not a revolution. Samsung has improved the displays, made the hinge slimmer, given us better speakers, and added a larger battery. The software now includes DeX and Samsung's full AI package, plus long-term update support. These are real advantages. Performance is strong, and the design remains one of the sleekest in the smartphone world. But there are still downsides. The cover screen, while bigger and smoother, is still limited in functionality. Charging speeds are slow for a modern flagship. The cameras haven't moved forward in hardware, and low-light performance isn't class-leading. For people coming from the Z Flip 6, this may not be a must upgrade. The improvements are nice, but not game-changing. However, for someone upgrading from an older Flip model, or for new buyers wanting a stylish foldable, the Z Flip 7 is one of the most refined options you can get today. It's compact, futuristic, and polished. In the end, Samsung's Galaxy Z Flip 7 shows that foldables are no longer experimental. This is a mature device, with enough improvements to keep the Flip line relevant and appealing. It may not be perfect, but it strikes a balance between fashion, technology, and usability that few other phones can match. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon so you never miss our latest reviews.